forward to the conversation today on the most consequential issues that face us now. But you know, you can go back in time, and the arguments that we've heard today, big government, socialism, cradle to grave, you know, you can hear the faint echo of the Republican arguments against Social Security. That was big government, cradle to grave. And if you have the government do that for you, you're doomed to be dependent. Now, at least, they have the courtesy to not frame Social Security in that form. It's the same argument that was made against Medicare. Cradle to grave, takeover of the healthcare system. The echoes get louder. Why should the United States be the only industrialized country that cannot deal with paid family leave? Is there something genetic about us that will go over the edge, that we provide benefits that other countries have? You know, some of those Scandinavian countries are very entrepreneurial, but they have things that our people want. Rural electrification was socialist, but it transformed rural America, small-town America. And now, they've kind of forgotten about those arguments about big government interference and investment. But it's the same sort of memory void. You know, we started out talking about Afghanistan today. You know, I thought I'd wandered into the wrong committee. But I didn't hear any of my colleagues argue against Donald Trump negotiating a withdrawal surrender with the Taliban in February of 2020, where they approved the release of 5,000 Taliban fighters that have made that situation in Afghanistan so much worse. It was Donald Trump that started the withdrawal that we weren't prepared for. And Joe Biden inherited 2,500 troops and a deadline that the United States had agreed to under Donald Trump. And if we had not moved forward, I have no doubt that there would have been at least as much or more carnage. But Donald Trump negotiated this withdrawal without laying the framework. Joe Biden inherited that, deal with the pandemic, deal with unprecedented challenges in terms of the climate crisis, that still my Republican friends are in denial and not willing to take steps to make a difference. Mr. Chairman, I won't dwell, I guess, on going back in history. I've got the quotations. They're kind of fun. You could have heard of some of them when they talked about prescription drug pricing. But let's look where we're going forward. We have, I think Mr. Thompson said, we've got a country that's half underwater, half on fire, or third. I forgot the phrasing. It was very eloquent, Mike. But that's the case. We're working through this. So these are not normal times. Many of you have taken credit for some of the massive federal spending that helped pull us back from the brink. Most of them, some of the major expenditures, actually had bipartisan support and should have. But going forward, dealing with climate, dealing with infrastructure that the Trump administration could never pull the trigger on, talked big but couldn't do anything, and these needs grow on an exponential basis. All of the things we're talking about here today, independent research suggests that the American public actually wants. The American public would be in desperate shape without the Affordable Care Act in the midst of this pandemic, and rural hospitals would be in worse condition. So I'll probably not go down memory lane any further, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you indulging me. But I think it's important that we talk about where we're going to deal with these unprecedented crises, and the legislation before us is a great start. Thank you, and I yield.